Welcome everybody to our Insights from Entrepreneurs series, episode number 8. Appreciate you joining us. Today we've got Nicole Lerda.
Yep.
Okay, Nicole Lerda, owner of the MaxxCole Salon and Skin Spa. And she has offered, excuse me, to speak with us today. So everyone's here to hear you, not me. So I'll pass it on to you now, Nicole, and we'll go from there.
Okay, sounds good. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining the call. As John had said, I do own a business called MaxxCole Salon and Skin Spa. It is an Aveda hair salon and a medical grade skincare clinic. And it is located in Robinson Township. And it is a business that I bought 2.5 years ago, August 24th of 2020 to be exact. And so it was right in the heart of the pandemic, which was, we had our challenges to say the least. But I have a business with 10 employees. It's a full service salon, a full service skin center. And we are doing very well. My background is not in cosmetology at all. That was my childhood dream. That's what I wanted to do. But back then, my parents wanted me to go to college, and so did the guidance counselor. So I did that. And I went to Indiana University of Pennsylvania, IUP, right, hour and a half here from Pittsburgh. And left with a degree in education and English, secondary English and writing. But when I graduated very shortly after, I was looking for a teaching job. And at that time in the 90s, I just couldn't, there really weren't a lot of teaching jobs here in Pittsburgh. So I ended up taking an entry-level marketing job because I did have a talent for writing. And from there, over the next 23 years, the first position I took was an entry-level marketing position in the financial services industry. And the next 23 years, I stayed in that industry. And I've held positions such as director of marketing, director of business development. And at the pinnacle of my career, I was the managing sales director for this entire Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia area, overseeing about 89 financial advisors. So I know it seems like a big jump from that to a salon. It is a very long story, but in January of 2020, I was getting my hair done at this salon because I was a client there for 14 years. And the owner pulled me aside and said she had to step away from the business. And she knew this was my childhood dream. And when I heard that I could have my childhood dream and save this business at the same time, I went all in and I purchased it. So that's how MaxxCole, it's the official date is September 8th of 2020. That's when we became MaxxCole, and we're about 2.5 years in, and we're doing very well. So that's just a little bit of background. I know we don't have a lot of time together today, but some of the things that I was thinking of that could help an entrepreneur or whatnot is, the business that I took over, it wasn't failing, but it was losing revenue. It lost employees. I think the former owner was just completely checked out and wasn't involved anymore. And although I had gone to that salon, like I said, I was a client for 14 years. On the outside, I thought everything was fine. I thought I would be inheriting a fine oiled machine. But when I took over, that wasn't the case. And I realized that first week that I had a lot of work to do. And I basically built every section of the business from the ground up. We ended 2020, when the year I took over, with about $335,000 in revenue. But this year, 2023, I believe we're going to do about $650,000. So with these changes, I've basically been able to double the revenue, added employees, and we've just changed the entire culture of the business. So John had sent me some prompts to prepare for this talk. And so some of them, I'm just going to go through some of the things that I've learned and that worked very, very well And one of them was just your takeaways and tips for managing a business. And that is a very general question. So I broke it down into 3 parts. And I think the way I looked at MaxxCole Salon was I managed 3 things. I managed the business, the operations, the financials, all of the black and white taxes, all of those kinds of things. Then I have the whole piece where I manage people, my team, and the culture and everything that has to do with them. And then last, I manage expectations. I'm a manager of expectations for my team, but for my clients as well. So I've segmented the business in those 3 ways. And the first way I tackle the business itself, luckily I did have a strong financial background because I was in the industry for so long. However, I don't know everything. Nobody can know everything, and that is okay. So what I did very early on was I created a quality resource team. You know, I've sat in leadership classes for the past almost 25, 30 years. And people always said, okay, you have a lot of work, delegate, delegate, delegate. Well, that is true. But sometimes if you're delegating to someone that you have to teach, it can be just as much work. So what I did was I created a strong resource team, whether it was from my personal network, asking for referrals. I developed that team. I made a list of every kind of support and service I would need to run this business efficiently, and went down the list. The people that I know I wanted in those categories, I put them in there. The categories I didn't have people for, I went out and found them. And I guess what I'm trying to say is it is good to delegate, but I feel it's better to delegate to another expert. And I have people on my resource team I haven't even used yet. I just know one day when I need, a new roof, I know the general contractor I'm going to go to. And I've already told him, I've already put him on notice. I want you to be the guy. I will be calling in the future, no doubt. So would you take my call? Absolutely. So I've compiled this resource team, people that are helping me now, people that have agreed to help me in the future. And that has brought me such a calm, because it's not just me. I have a whole team of people, and I've sat with every person. I've told them about my business. I've really been quite transparent. So they understand what I'm doing, understand, how I'm running the business and what needs to get done. And it has been invaluable to have other experts helping me. And sometimes, as far as you might say, boy, that can be really expensive to have all these people on retainer. They're not on retainer or anything like that. And sometimes, I've been very honest of what I can pay. This is what I can pay. This is what I can't pay. This is what I can do for you in a trade of services. And it's just worked out very well. So the calm of having that strong resource team, people on notice, ready to help, it is phenomenal. And everything, I have had everything from building issues to parking issues to needs with my employees, and things just come. It's a 5,000 square foot building. We see about 450 clients a week. So stuff happens. And so I always have to be prepared, ready to jump in and fix whatever is needed. Now, my part about managing the people, and this is when I took over the business. Again, being a client, I saw this team of women. I didn't think there were any problems. But once I got inside, I started to learn about the leadership that they had and the damage that it had done to them. So I've spent a lot of time working on my team, the culture. And what I have found was, when I took over this business, I said to them, you know me as a client, you don't know me as a leader. I'm asking you to trust me. I'm asking you to give me an opportunity to show you what I can do. And they agreed. And here we are 2.5 years later, everyone has stayed. Their incomes are way up. And we've done a really good job with that. And the first thing I did with them, number one, was just simply listen. Listen to what happened previously. I keep everything confidential. That's another thing my team knows about me. But what I ended up doing was, number one, excuse me, I had bronchitis last week and I still have a tickle in my throat. I apologize. Excuse me. My apologies. One of the things I did with them, just getting to know them getting to know me, is I put my business plan out to them to share it with them, to get their feedback. Because one thing I learned in over 20 years in the financial services industry, for your people to do well, you have to market what you want to do to them first, not the clients, not the public. You need to get that internal buy-in. It was very important. So to do that, like I said, I shared with them the business plan. I shared with them the financials. I shared with them my goals, and not just the surface goals, but why I took this business over and what I wanted to build. And we've had many deep, intimate conversations about this, so they understand where I'm coming from. I adopted leadership with them that was more compassionate, more flexible. In our post-COVID world, life is different. It really is. And I have 10 women that work for me, most of which are busy working mothers, and they need flexibility. They need compassion. So turning that entire culture around, help the whole business tremendously. And a big piece of my leadership in managing people, leading people really, is appreciating them. I can't tell you, I do little things and I pay attention, and it goes so far. This was a team that was never told they had done a good job or had time off or anything like that. I have a team of very strong, talented cosmetologists and estheticians. 6 of the 10 have degrees in higher education. One is a classically trained opera singer. So these women are educated. They are entrepreneurs in themselves, growing their beauty business practice under an umbrella. I've treated them with respect. And once I shared all of that with them, I was very, again, transparent. I was very vulnerable with them. They really, the trust was built, and they got on board with the mission. And now we forged forward very early on as a united front. And it has made a tremendous difference. So really looking at your people, looking at the culture, seeing what you can do was invaluable to this team. And the last thing that I manage for the business are expectations. I'm very, very big on expectations. Setting expectations to me is crucial, and I have adopted it. I do it all the time. I do it with my family, my friends, and in business, because especially in business, and I always used to say in my other career that people do not like surprises, especially when it comes to money and time. So it could be the simplest expectation that a client comes in, their stylist is 10 minutes behind. Instead of them sitting there wondering and waiting, one of us will walk over and say, Mary, I just want you to know, Chelsea absolutely knows you're here. She will be with you shortly. She's about 7 minutes behind. And can I get you a cup of coffee or something like that? It's setting the expectation. There wasn't any of that in the other business. So I set expectations for my employees, what is expected of me for them. And it's crystal clear. It's written. So as far as the team is concerned, we all know what to expect from each other. From the clients, we're always setting expectations for them. I serve a very busy market of typically about 90% professional women ages 35 to 55. Most are married with children, some with grandchildren. They are busy women. They do not have a lot of time to waste. So my entire business is set up to cater to this specific market. So setting expectations for them, how long services are going to take, how long they may have to wait, pricing, everything. There's no surprises. And I think that really has changed our culture as well, because it's a culture of respect of people's time and of their money. So those three areas needed management. Like I said, the internal operations, then the team, and the expectations of the client base, and and really managing the expectations of myself as well. So the tips I would, any other things that I have learned, going down the list that John had said, like I said, for operations, my support team is, it's invaluable to me. I would recommend anyone work on that project, pull together a list of resources for you so you don't have to carry this burden your entire self. Marketing. One of the questions was, what do you do for marketing? And that, again, very general. But my number one thing I would leave with you is, we've talked a lot about over the years about target markets. And yes, very important. But I take it a step further, because a target market can still be a little general. My target market are women between the ages of 35 and 55, like I just said, professional women, with a need for hair and skin services, people that are forward facing in their career and whatnot. But there's a difference between a target market and a buying audience. And I focused my entire marketing plan around my buying audience. That is the people who've actually given me money for the services that we offer. If I have a target market of professional women 35 to 55 in the city of Pittsburgh, could be 1 million people, but who have already bought from me? I need to look deeper at them. So I looked at that client base. Who was coming to us? Why were they coming to us? And it really turned out that these women were mostly professional women. They were women that valued their time. They wanted to, go to a place that was professional, that was clean, that was efficient. And they also wanted to, our Aveda Salon and Skin Spa, everything we do is very green. We don't use any toxic chemicals or anything like that. So there was a big market for people that value that the green lifestyle. So, and again, we're so short on time. I mean, I really dug deeper. So people, I've worked with so many hundreds and hundreds of financial advisors over the years. And they were like, but my target audience is this, but they're not buying from me. But I went to the engineering firm and they bought. Well, then maybe your target audience isn't your buying audience. Let's take a look at that. So all of my marketing, I focus on who buys from me. And I find those people in different ways. I find those people mostly by referral, by events that I hold or events that I do, one-on-one personal connection. We do have some social media that we do, but mostly it is a one-on-one business, and I focus all of my marketing efforts for that. As far as hiring is concerned, I don't have, like I said, I have 10 employees. I've done some hiring. I've always used my personal network. When people would say to me when I first started the business, Nicole, how can I help you? What can I do? It was number one, I'm looking for a business account. I'm always looking for people. It's not that, oh, I want you to come and get your hair cut. No, I need you introductions. I need people. So my hiring, we are very selective. And so through good networking, good referral sources, we were able to complete the team. But I'm just going to stop right there. I do want to say some things about the Duquesne University Small Business Development Center. I was referred to them very early on in my buying process of the business. I had the opportunity in January of 2020, and I think I connected with them that spring. If you have not talked to someone there or you're contemplating it, I have to tell you, I was connected with a consultant, Donald Lodge, and the first thing I noticed was it was 2020. We were in the middle of a global pandemic we had never seen before. And I was in a judge-free zone. I had a lot of people telling me I was crazy, you're nuts, all those kinds of things. The Small Business Development Center didn't say that one time. It was support from the get-go. They gave me support from business planning to questions about securing a loan, just the continued support. Anytime I had a question, I could pick up the phone or email Don, and he was there to help me. Closer to the opening, they had helped me have a ribbon cutting, and there was wonderful PR that went along with it, and they had their photographer there, and I got some great pictures, and I just can't say enough. And I feel very included and respected by the people there, which is, it just means the world to me. Those are the experts, and they treat me so well. And so, and here I am 2.5 years in, and they still check on me, and I still can ask questions. I mean, that relationship has been invaluable. So I would recommend, if you need a little guidance, even if you're already a business owner, it can't hurt. And they have different people there with different skill sets. So they all collaborate and can really get you some great answers. But those are some of the things that really helped me. It helped me turn this business completely around. And, I'm grateful to a lot of people. It was not just me. It took what do they say? It takes a village.